So let's take a moment, come back to our breath, let the mind settle. Then let's generate our motivation for being here, for attending this course, and have very clear in our mind that it's not for our own welfare alone. So everyone here has a virtuous motivation, contemplating monastic life, but it's important that we really ensure that our motivation, long lasting, is a virtuous one. So not focused on either the happiness of this life or wanting a good rebirth or even seeking our own liberation. But our whole existence, our ability to stay alive, is due to the kindness of other sentient beings. So to repay that kindness, to acknowledge our dependence on others, then we cultivate the motivation to attain full awakening, because that's the best way to be of great benefit to living beings. So take a moment, generate that motivation in your mind for attending the program. Okay. So this is a very unusual EML program because they're usually done with everybody in person. Last year, we did it with everybody online because of COVID. This year, it's half and half. So it's very weird. And I'm just going to say that up front because we all know it, okay? And the people here and the people who are not here will have very different experiences, because part of the program, as we usually run it, is a living experience, not an online experience, which means that people are here and you are joining our monastic community and living together with us, following the schedule, okay? And so the people who are here live, you're all sitting up straight, yeah, because you know if you aren't, I'm going to give you a dirty look. But the people online, well, you know, so far, well, kind of good. But I know that when you get tired, you will click off your video, and then you will take a break. Or, you'll lean back or lie down and hope I don't notice. Uh, maybe uh, your friends will come in, or you'll check your phone, or, you'll look at something else when the teachings get boring. Um, so it's not the same experience. And that's the whole thing that concerns me about uh, people doing Dharma online. On one hand, it's really wonderful because otherwise people who don't have the ability to come here can still learn the teachings and participate. But the disadvantage is that you're not with a living group of people and with a living instructor, and so you can cheat in those ways. And when we cheat, of course, who are we cheating? We're cheating ourselves. We don't get the same benefit. Yeah. So that's what we're dealing with. Also, the program here, everybody's getting up at the latest 5 in the morning. Okay, some people earlier coming to practice for an hour and a half. Then we have program in the morning, and then in the afternoon, it depends on whether we're doing usual schedule or summer schedule. We'll either have offering service and then another meditation period. All you people online, you can sleep the whole rest of the day, because there's no program for you. Because you can't, I wish we could send you some trees to limb, some weeds to pull, so you could actually offer service at the Abbey and be part of the group here. But unfortunately, Zoom doesn't have that function. Okay. So the people online, I'm asking you, please, the rest of the day, keep your mind in the Dharma. Do something useful with your mind. Yeah. Don't go out and do your regular things, or, go to the bar with your friends, or, watch movies, or, those kinds of things. Because, in the morning, you're trying to put your mind in a certain direction, and then the rest of the day you scatter it somewhere else. Okay, so either read, Dharma material, or I don't know if we have anything that we can ship out to them to do, if you think of something. Okay. Then just to recognize, we have quite a mix of people. EML is for monastic wannabes. It's for people who are maybe interested in it. And it's also for people who are ordained. So online, I see 3 people who are ordained. And here we have 2, 3, 4 people who are ordained. And then one person who's an anagarika who will become ordained just after the EML. Yeah. So people online, I'm sorry you won't be able to see that, but unless you get here real quickly. Okay. And then other people who are in this group will become anagarikas at that time too. Yeah. There, you saw them applauding for you. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about the 5 precepts, because those set the context for how we're going to live together. Okay. And we often think of precepts, or sometimes it's translated as vows. Actually, I don't think, the individual precepts, we should think of them as vows. That's kind of a Catholic term, like you promise forever and ever you will not do something or else. Okay. In Buddhism, the idea is that we have guidelines to train our mind. So precepts has the meaning of advice or guideline. Okay. So we are using the precepts to train our mind, and we are training our mind because we want to train our mind. With that, the word vows, we often have the sense that they are established by someone or something other than us and are now being imposed on us. Okay. If you look at Buddhist precepts that way, you're going to be very unhappy. Yeah. Because nobody likes to feel that something is imposed on them with uh, a threat of suffering as the alternative. Okay. So, and I say this because most of us have been raised in a Judeo Christian culture or have been brought up in a theistic religion. And so those things get implanted in our mind from when we're very young. And then we tend to take Judeo Christian ideas and impute them on top of Buddhist ideas. Okay, when in fact they're quite different. And so this whole use of the term vow is one way. Some people use the term vows, I use precepts. Sometimes we use the term vow as meaning a whole set of precepts. So you have the upasaka or upasika, the layperson's vow, singular, which has 5 precepts. Okay. Or the shramaneri or shramanera vow, which has 10 precepts. Okay. So sometimes the word vow is used like that. Okay. So I just went off on a tangent about that word. Let's come back to, I was going to talk about the 5 precepts, how we're going to live together. Okay. So the precepts are, these 5 are not just to help us become more mindful of our behavior and have more introspective awareness about what we're doing, but they also set the stage for how we're going to relate to each other, and they create a certain ambience. So the first precept is not to kill. Okay, so I hope that nobody here is planning on killing another human being. Um, we wouldn't have invited you here if you had that intention. Okay, but also it means not killing different bugs and different animals. So around the Abbey, we have lots of bugs. Okay. And the bugs far outnumber the human beings. Okay. So if we had a vote, they would, be the winners here. Yeah. I wish they would take over some of the running of the Abbey so I didn't have to deal with, the banks and the building commissioners and all those people. But the bugs, they just take what they want and, leave the rest for us to do. So be careful where you're walking, be careful. Just recognize that you're in an environment with a lot of other sentient beings. And so respect their lives. Mhm. And that first one of not to kill also means don't harm anybody physically. Okay. So you don't haul off and slug somebody. Again, I'm not anticipating that, but things happen that you don't anticipate. So we're not hitting each other, beating each other up, clawing each other, or anything like that. Okay. Now, it may seem to you, oh, yes, of course, that's the way human beings behave together. Well, on January 6th, that's not how they behave together. Okay. So, and many instances of human beings who we anticipate behaving in a more peaceful way, they don't. Okay. So it's something to be quite aware of. And when each and every one of us keep that guideline, adhere to that guideline, then everybody here can feel safe. Yeah. So we often wonder, how can I, as one person, contribute to world peace? Yeah. Keeping the 5 precepts is our contribution to world peace. Because even with the first one, that means everybody who comes around us doesn't have to worry for life and limb. Okay. They feel secure, they feel safe. That's a big contribution to world peace. Mhm. The second one is not to take what hasn't been freely given to us. This is often translated as in don't steal, okay? But stealing has the context of wearing a mask, not a COVID mask, but the other, a Halloween kind of mask, and breaking into somebody's house in the middle of the night. Okay, so we don't do that. But when the actual translation of the term is don't take what hasn't been freely given. Okay. So that means uh, exactly that. Yeah. If something has not been explicitly given to us, we don't take it, we don't use it. Yeah. So, in terms of living here at the Abbey, things in the bathroom that are out on the shelf, the sink and the shelves and things like that, those are for community use. Yeah. Things in drawers are not. We have a guest library in the back here where you can read things. The library in the room behind the guest library, okay, that is for residents only. Yeah. And we've lost so many books because of guests going in that library, and they don't want to steal, but they take what hasn't been given and forget to return it. Even people who come here quite regularly. One time, some of our people were at somebody's house and they noticed an Abbey library book with an Abbey sticker on their shelf. And, these people, they didn't intend to take anything that wasn't freely given. But, you take something and you just put it in your suitcase and take it home with you. Yeah. So also that involves when we leave things around here. If you leave things on your table, if you leave things in your room, yeah. Uh, if everybody adheres to this guideline, then nobody needs to worry about their stuff getting ripped off. They know it'll be there when they come back. However, if you leave your stuff in a mess in a community area, it will not be stolen, but you will find it elsewhere. And I won't tell you where because that's part of the fun. Yeah, that you have to go looking for it. Okay. So we want to keep our own things in our own area. Okay. But if things are, or if you forget something, a small item, for 20 minutes, that's okay. Nobody's going to take it. But if you're leaving, your jacket's over here, and on top of your jacket is your, I don't know, this and that and the other thing, and that's not going to work. Okay. I can give you some references for what happens. Yeah. Okay. So, and also, if we want to borrow something, if we know that the person we're borrowing it from is a friend and that they don't need it, and if they may not be around for us to ask, but if they were, we know they would say, okay, then we can borrow it for a short period of time and put it back. So you need to write something and you don't have a pen, you take a pen from somebody's table and use it, and then you put it right back. You don't put it in your pocket. Okay. So this, you could say, oh my God, she sounds like my mother. But there's a lot of things that we were supposed to learn as little kids about being considerate, being mindful, having introspective awareness of our body, speech, and mind. And, our parents taught us those things in preschool, but we still haven't learned them. So sometimes we need to be reminded. Mhm. The third one is no unwise or unkind sexual behavior. And in the context of EML, no sexual behavior at all, because this is a course for people who are interested in monastic life. Okay. If you are interested in monastic life, it means that you want to be celibate. Okay. This needs to be extremely clear to people because there have been too many scandals in all the Buddhist traditions of people wearing what looks like robes or what are robes, but not being celibate. And this leads to a lot of degeneration. So it's very clear for monastics, we are celibate. During this program, whether you are a monastic or not, you want to have that experience, you're going to be celibate. So actually, celibacy brings a lot of freedom because you don't have to get involved in all the trips that you usually get involved with when you're attracted to somebody or somebody's attracted to you. Okay. So you become quite aware of those trips when you're living with other people who are celibate, because those other people are not going to respond to your trips, hopefully. Yeah. If they do, then you're both in trouble. Okay. But it makes you aware of, because we do all sorts of sneaky things and some not so sneaky things. Yeah. The way we walk when we want to attract somebody to us. Okay. The way we make eye contact, the way we smile, the way we stand. Okay. All of those, indicate that can indicate sexual interest. Okay. And then you start, and this happens in retreats. It's like, okay, well, there's some good looking person. Where are they doing walking meditation? Oh, over there. I think I'll do my walking meditation close to them. Yeah. So then we can start talking. And then after we talk, we can talk some more. Then we can take a walk together. Then. Okay. So I think we've all been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Yeah. If you're interested in doing that some more, go somewhere else. Okay. There's lots of people. But here, that's not what we're going to do. Yeah. Okay. And to define that a little bit more closely, for lay people, the precept is to not have unwise or unkind sexual behavior. Okay, so unwise means having sexual behavior in which there is the possibility of sexually transmitted diseases, which is a real possibility nowadays. So to be careful with that, where you could transmit to somebody else or somebody else could transmit to you. Okay. Unkind means using other people for your own pleasure without really caring about them as human beings. Seeing people as sexual objects that are there to help you have your sexual pleasure. And so the hookup culture seems to be quite in line with that, of people you just hook up for one night or 2 nights or however long it is. And you talk about it beforehand. No, we don't want a long-term relationship. We aren't going to get involved emotionally. We're just going to have a good time in bed together. Everybody agrees about that beforehand. Okay? However, you start out that way, and then one person gets emotionally involved and the other person doesn't. And then what? Yeah, then somebody gets really hurt. So, that kind of thing is unkind sexual behavior. And definitely, if you're in a relationship going with somebody who isn't, or even if you're single going with somebody who is in a relationship, though that's the real serious infraction. But then there's so many other ways to transgress this precept. Okay, people here are not gonna. You don't have access to your phones or to your computers, so if you're interested in porn, sorry, no porn at the Abbey. People online, no porn during the course. Hopefully no porn anytime. Okay. I mean, because porn is kind of the ultimate in objectifying somebody and seeing them as an object, isn't it? Yeah. Even if somebody says, well, I'm agreeing to be a porn star, um, you know, it's still viewing yourself as an object, viewing other people as an object. People are not sexual objects. They are human beings with feelings. Okay. Then the fourth one is not lying. So let me go back. So just as we felt secure with everybody keeping the precept of not killing and not harming others physically, and when everybody keeps the precept of not taking what hasn't been given, people feel secure because they know that they can trust everybody and their stuff isn't going to get stolen. Similarly, here with everybody being celibate, then nobody has to worry about, what does that person think of me? How do I look? Am I attractive enough? Am I not attractive? Gee, I wish they looked a little bit different. Maybe I can remodel them. Uh, you know, all these kinds of things. And the trips that people play, how you hit on someone if you're attracted to them, all of that gets cut off when you're living in a celibate community. And that's what I meant by when I said that it brings a lot of freedom. Yeah, it brings a lot of freedom. You don't have to play any roles. You don't have to play to present yourself in a certain way. Because we've all been brought up, women are supposed to present themselves in this way, men are supposed to present themselves in that way. And then this is how we attract people to ourselves and blah, blah, blah. And we're not playing any of those games. Yeah. So that's why, there's no cosmetics. no perfume, no aftershave, no jewelry. Okay. Yeah. Including watches. We don't wear our watches. Good. Take it off. Yeah. Now you may say, well, what's wrong with a watch? In old Tibet, watches were jewelry. And even now, watches convey status, don't they? If you have a nice gold Rolex, yeah, you got something. So, you watch, if you live in India amongst the monastics, watches are status, backpacks, the kind of backpack you have illustrates status, and shoes. Yeah. In Chinese Buddhism and also in Thailand, everybody wears the same kind of shoes. In Tibetan Buddhism, people wear different kind of shoes. And often status is conveyed through your shoes. Yeah. Are they leather? Are they shiny? Or are they flip-flops and made of plastic? Okay. Are they torn with holes in them? Or are they clearly bought in an expensive department store? You're smiling, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So, yeah, so that's why, we don't get into any of that. Yeah. And, in terms of robes, yeah, well, my robes are special. I got them at Saks Fifth Avenue. Yeah. Do you like this? Isn't this a nice color? Yeah, it looks so good on me. But your robes match. People, this is how you know a newer monastic. Now, I know you've been ordained a while, but usually newer monastics, all their maroon things are the same shade of maroon. Yeah. For older monastics, well, it's kind of how it is. But we want nice robes. Look, we have nice blue cord. In India, when I first ordained, the blue cord, when you washed it, it would fade. And so after a few times, you had white cord or light blue cord. Okay, everybody wants it with dark blue cord. Mhm. Okay, so we don't get into any of that stuff of trying to impress somebody with how we are. Okay, that's why when we ask lay people who come here to wear solid color clothing, yeah, and no jewelry and so on. Yeah. Also, one of the community members is very allergic to any kind of scent in aftershave, soap, lotion, anything like that. So anything that you have that is scented, or if you washed your clothes in what's it called? Clothes softener? What? Fabric softener. I knew something like that. Uh, and because that gives a scent to the clothes. Wash your clothes again to get the scent out. Okay, because this person's really quite sensitive to that kind of thing. Okay, so it just means we're free, no trips. We can relate to people very directly, very honestly. Okay, then the fourth precept is to not to lie. Okay, so not to say things that aren't true with the intention to deceive other people, to make them believe what you're saying. So we have to be kind of careful too when we're joking, because every once in a while somebody will think that our joke is not a joke and they'll get offended. Yeah. Here, I happen to joke a lot. Okay. So you can, then you'll probably take everything I say as a joke and not listen to anything. But, we hit and miss kind of thing. So, be careful what we joke about. Make sure that what we're telling is the truth. And you can really see the harm of lying by knowing what's going on in this country at the time, and politicians, unbelievable, without any hesitation, lie through their nose. And then other people believe it. And it's destroying the country. So let's not join in that thing. Okay. So I will tell you right now, COVID vaccine does not change your DNA. Okay. It's not going to give you the heebie-jeebies. It's not going to harm you. And it's much better you take COVID vaccine than die of COVID. Okay. Lying also is a big thing to abandon, including exaggerating stuff. Unless, of course, you're clearly joking and then people know you're exaggerating. But, because when we lie, we want to cover up something. Yeah. So lying usually indicates that there's some action we did that we don't want anybody to know about, or some action that we should have done, but we didn't, and we don't want anybody to know about that. So there's one bad action that we did. Then we lie to cover that up because we don't want people to know. So then you have double trouble, the original action and the lie. Yeah. If you're wondering how that is harmful, ask Bill Clinton. Yeah, he's a perfect illustration of an original mistake, and then instead of owning the mistake, lying. This seems to run in presidential minds. You lost an election, so you say that you won it by a landslide. Okay, that is a lie. That is not true. Yeah. And so you can see that lies are they're two problems put together. The original one plus the lie. And lies harm other people. We can see right now what they're doing to the country and how they're harming the country and harming the world. Okay. So then does that mean that we say everything totally truthfully? Okay. So the example I give is grandma invited you over to dinner. Okay. And she makes, she spent all day cooking in the kitchen, but she made something that you don't like. So you're eating dinner with grandma, and grandma says, "How do you like the food?" So what do you say? Do you say, "Grandma, it stinks. I can't stand this"? Yeah, that's the truth. Do you say that to grandma? No. What is grandma's real question when she's saying, "How do you like the food?" Okay. What does she really want to know when she asks that? She's saying, "I invited you over to dinner because I love you, because I care about you." Yeah. And I express that through cooking you a meal. Are you accepting the love that I'm giving you? Are you realizing how much I love you? That's what her question is about. She doesn't really care about the food. And you don't either, I mean, okay, you don't like it, but big deal. Okay. So in that case, you don't answer the literal question. You answer the question what she's really asking you. And you say, "Grandma, thank you so much for inviting me to come. I really love spending time with you, and you spent so long cooking this meal and I really appreciate it. And you let her know that you see her loving and kind motivation and you accept that and you feel the same way about her. Okay. Okay, so that's the fourth one. Then the fifth precept is not taking intoxicants. Yeah. So as this precept was initially given, it referred to alcohol. Okay. But that was in ancient India. And it actually, I think in ancient India, they also had other intoxicating substances. Most countries and cultures do. So it refers, this precept, to taking any kind of intoxicating substance, yeah, that is not prescribed for your health by a doctor or uh, misusing prescribed medicine. Okay. So if you have medicines that your doctor prescribed, take them. Okay. This is not the time for you to stop taking your meds. Take your prescribed medicine, but don't get involved in recreational drugs or in abusing prescribed drugs. That's what the opioid epidemic is about. Lots of people starting off on a prescribed drug and then getting addicted and beginning to abuse it. And how many people have died from, the from ODing? Actually, one young man, well, he wasn't so young. He was in his 30s. A few years ago, he came and he was here at the Abbey for, I don't know, a month or two. He was doing really well. We knew he had had an addiction problem, but he came to the Abbey. He was completely clean. He wanted to be clean. He was really happy with being clean. And then I've noticed what people often do after they've been here for a while is they say, I want to go back to where I came from and see if I can really live the same way as I did at the Abbey. So he went back to Ohio, where he came from. And a few months after that, his family contacted us that he had OD'd. And it was awful. It was awful. I mean, because he had so much potential. He had been doing so well. His family wound up coming out here. His ashes are sprinkled in Sukhavati. Yeah. So, yeah, we don't want any more of that. So hopefully you can see that when we keep precepts, and you're doing that at least for the duration of this course, then not only are you becoming more aware of your actions and thoughts, but you're creating a safe space for everybody else to get into their practice. Because those 5 things, if you keep those 5 things, people will trust you and you can trust those people. Yeah. Someone who lies, I don't know about you, but if somebody lies to me, that completely ruptures the relationship. Yeah. And I find that very often people lie over stupid things. And they could tell me the truth and I wouldn't be upset. Yeah. So for me personally, when somebody lies to me, it indicates that they don't think I can handle the truth. Yeah. That they don't want me to know something about them because I'm going to judge them or whatever. Yeah. I don't want people to have that conclusion about me. I want people to be able to speak the truth and to know that I can handle the truth. Okay. Because really lying, yeah, not good in relationships, is it? Any kind of relationship. Online questions, comments? Yes.
Maybe you could speak a bit about the mind to have for offering service.
Okay. So for the people who are here offering service, in other places you go, it is called work. Okay. But at the Abbey, we do not work. We offer service. There's a big difference. Work, you don't want to do. Offering service enables you to create merit, enables you to benefit other living beings. Okay? So if you start looking at the various tasks that you're giving during offering service time as work, as something that you don't want to do, that isn't fair that you should have to do it, then it means you don't have the right motivation. Okay? So we need to have the motivation. I mean, you offer service, you're doing something willingly because why are you practicing Dharma? For the benefit of all sentient beings. Okay? So how do you benefit all sentient beings? Okay, you want to attain Buddhahood. Yeah, great. That's good. Are you going to attain Buddhahood today? Probably not. Okay, what can you do today to benefit other people? Okay, whatever needs to be done in the place where you are. So if you have a job, you go to work with a happy mind to benefit the customers, the clients, your colleagues. Okay, if you're here, you do your offering service task because you're benefiting the whole community. Yeah, not because somebody's bossing you around, not because you have to. Okay, and unlike a regular job, okay, you're not going to get paid, and you might expect some praise, and we all like praise. Oh, you vacuum that floor so well, better than anybody else has ever vacuumed the floor. We love praise, don't we? Chances are here at the Abbey, you're not going to get it. Okay? Because praise is one of the 8 worldly concerns that keeps us stuck in samsara. Yeah. And so lots of people, when you go to work, what do you want? You want praise. You want your boss to acknowledge how wonderful you are. And, either verbally and especially paycheck. Okay. But here, you're not getting paid. So there's no bargaining for that. Yeah. And here, you're not going to set your own hours either. Yeah. It's offering service time at the Abbey. We all have a schedule. We all do it at the same time. Okay. Now, I might as well add another thing about the schedule. Nobody likes it. Okay. Everybody wants to change the schedule. Everybody. Yeah. So they're staying here at the Abbey. There's a few things nobody likes. Number one is the schedule. Okay. One person wants to get up earlier. Somebody else wants to get up later. Some person wants the meditation session to be longer. Somebody else shorter. Some people, that's the second thing, how we do the meditation sessions. Some people think there's too much talking. Some people think there's not enough. Some people think we should do prostrations to the 35 Buddhas in a separate session or at the end of the session instead of at the beginning of the session. Okay. Okay. Some people think the chants are too slow and some people think they're too fast. And everybody is always out of tune. Not everybody. There's a few people who can keep in tune. But, our chanting can use something. Why? Because we don't listen to each other. Yeah. If you listen to the people around you, it becomes much easier to stay on tune. Yeah. But we are individuals in America, and we like to sing the way we want to sing. And, if we want to do it faster than you, it's going to be faster. Yeah. I'm usually the one who does that. Yeah. When they're doing the chanting so slow, I speed it up, and then other people slow it down. And we have a great time together. Okay. So nobody likes the schedule. Nobody likes the way the sessions are run. Everybody complains about the kitchen. Okay. So just know that you're not going to like the food. Yeah. And everything that's put out, you're not going to like. It's too salty. It doesn't have enough salt. You have gluten allergies and they serve gluten. Well, the next dish is tofu, so you can eat that. No, tofu has gluten too, doesn't? No, tofu doesn't have gluten, but you're allergic to tofu, or you don't like tofu that way. Okay, so and then the sauce is, they put the sauce first, and then the thing you put the sauce over after that. Oh God, don't these people know how to make a buffet? You put the stuff first and the sauce last. Okay. So, just know that you're not going to like it. Yeah. And they put salad on the dessert counter and desserts in the middle of the regular food. And they never have the right utensils out. Okay. You want some broth for whatever it is you're serving, and they give a serving spoon that has holes in it. Okay. It's a frying pan that has Teflon, so they put a metal instrument. Yeah. Okay. So just get used to it, and know that you'll probably, on the days when you go first in the line, then you're going to have to be the ones who are going to have to ask somebody, please pass out whatever. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you're not going to like all those things. So, um, hello, welcome to life. Welcome to reality. Yeah, I know this is a tremendous impingement upon your rules of the universe. Because I don't know about you, but the first rule of my universe is everything should be the way I want it to be. Everybody and everything. And the world just does not cooperate with that. What a pity. That's why the world's so stupid. So I have to educate the world and let people know how they can improve so that they can do things the right way, because the right way is my way, because I would never do anything wrong or believe anything wrong. Okay. So the world has to be aware of that. Now, the problem is, all of you people think that that pertains to you. Yeah. Because you're all saying to yourself, everything should go the way I want it to go. But that's why you're stupid, because everything should go the way I want it to go, not the way you want it to go, even though you're thinking everything should go the way I want it to go, thinking I is you. But I is me. So let's get that real clear at the beginning. Okay. Everything, what are you holding your hand up for? Yeah, I'm speaking.
There's a question online.
Okay, what's the question? That person wants to know if they're the center of the universe, not me.
Not quite.
Oh, okay. What's the question?
Ollie, would you like to unmute yourself and ask the question?
Okay, well, I had some corrections here also. I asked about the Buddhahood when you spoke about it, and correct me if it is enough to attain a personal nirvana opposed to Buddhahood.
I couldn't understand well. If it's
Asking, is it enough to want to aim for personal nirvana to be a monastic, or do you have to want to attain full enlightenment to become a Buddha?
Okay. If you're a practitioner of the fundamental vehicle, or the Theravada tradition, then the bottom baseline motivation must be your own personal liberation. Okay. But here at the Abbey, we follow the Mahayana, or the universal vehicle. And so we encourage everybody to develop the aspiration for full Buddhahood as their motivation. It's sufficient to have the aspiration for your personal liberation. But if you're here at the Abbey, you're going to hear a lot about bodhicitta. Okay. Make sense?
Yes, but what if I don't think I should become a Buddha?
That's okay.
That's more of my question.
No. If you want to become an arhat, that's fine. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. The more liberated beings there are, the better. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or, yeah. In other words, our motivation for ordination should be something beyond this lifetime, something beyond seeking the happiness of samsara. Okay. So we may not have spontaneous renunciation, seeking liberation. We may not have spontaneous bodhicitta, seeking full awakening. Yeah. But we cultivate it, we generate it, we practice it. Okay. And slowly, by doing that, then we can, those motivations can become our own personal motivations integrated into our very being. And then they become quite powerful. Yeah. Right now, our usual motivation is my happiness now. Would you agree? Yeah. That's your usual motivation of what is going to make me happy now. Or put in another way, I want what I want when I want it. Or put in another way, I am the center of the universe. And like I just said, everything should happen the way I want it. And that's our usual motivation as ordinary samsaric beings in the desire realm. And that motivation is what keeps us trapped. So if we want something beyond circling in samsara, taking one rebirth after the other, after the other, after the other, then we have to have a motivation that is bigger than samsara. Yeah, we have to have a motivation at least for liberation, and even better for full awakening. Okay, so I think that's a good place to stop for today.